50 years ago, my mother, Nancy Hawk, convinced Harriett Starr Mason to leave the public school system and found Miss Mason's school. Their goal was to have a school where each student received the very best education possible while at the same time learning to be a good citizen. This has been our goal for the last 50 years and will continue to be the mission of Mason Prep for the next 50 years.
I started Mason Prep in 1974 and actually went all the way through to high school, and I was the last graduating high school class in 1986. Mason Prep gave me lots of opportunities. My fondest memory, though, is actually of Harriett Mason, always in her button-up suit and bright red hair and stern look. She taught a class called Self-Motivation Institute, SMI. It was in 6th grade, and what it taught us was goal setting. Every week, once a week, we would go to her classroom after school. It was voluntary, and learn how to set goals for ourselves. It's a method I still use today, and I remember very distinctly being an okay student, and I set a goal to make the honor roll, and I did. When they called my name up to the honor roll, I turned around and looked at Miss Mason. I said, "I did it," and her stern look, she went. And that was the look of approval.
I think what is most important to me is the fact that I was here in 1st grade. All 3 of my children have been here in 1st grade. I now have a 7th grader, a 4th grader, and a 1st grader. So I can see some of the same principles that we were taught, such as do your work with a happy heart, that a mistake is only a mistake until you fix it. Those simple messages that I learned in 1st grade that my daughter's being taught, that sort of set the foundation of what it's about, what it's like to be not just a good student, but a good citizen.
Hi, I'm Emily Cook. One of my favorite memories at Mason was making Polar Express trains with my pen pal. I remember as a 1st grader always looking up to my 8th grade pen pal. As an 8th grader, I remember being on the other side of that and having a 1st grader look up to me.
Hey, Mason Prep family. It's hard for me to believe over 40 years ago I came walking through these doors for my first day of class at Miss Mason's. And now I couldn't be prouder that my daughter is getting ready to graduate from Mason Prep. I remember Miss Mason coming into the classroom and teaching us about things like setting goals, leadership, self-direction, and just plain being a good person. I see it in my daughter, my son, and their classmates today. These children take pride in themselves and in their school. At Mason Prep, we're not just building better students, we're building better students with better character. We're building better people. So here's to a fantastic first 50 years. Looking forward to the future. Let's go Mason Prep.
I have a long 50-year history with Mason Prep. I love this school. I went to school here in the very first grade. My mother taught here, and both of my girls went to school here. But the thing I think I like the most about Mason Prep is that both of my children got a fabulous education, which has served them well as they've gotten older.
When I'm 50, I want to be a vet because I like animals.
When I am 50, I want to be an engineer because I like to build things and take things apart.
When I am 50, I want to be an artist, but I do not want to wait until I'm 50. I want to be in high school.
When I am 50, I want to be a teacher at Mason Prep.
When I am 50, I want to be a world traveler like my dad.
When I turn 50, I want to be an engineer like my dad so I can build my own house.
One thing Joe and I really like about Mason Prep is the fact it's taken away the fear of our children slipping through the cracks. So, you know, when any of our children have had issues, or the teachers have always addressed it and have, you know, been on top of it and made sure that they're doing the best that they can. The other thing that we're crazy about is it's not just about education, it's about building that good person as far as ethics and morals and making little good citizens.
Pretty good. When we first started, we brought our 2 oldest children in from public school environment, and we felt that they weren't really in the focus of the administration of the teachers that were there. And we wanted a smaller classroom size, and we wanted a more challenging environment to make sure that our children were getting engaged. And we found that and more here, and a great background, a good a good heart and soul. We're trying to do all that ourselves at home, but to have that component at school is really important, and we really value that at Mason.
So one of my favorite things about Mason Prep really is the way that we found that our daughter Mila was so well prepared, not just for high school and college, but basically for life outside of the comforting and safe walls of Mason Prep. She had a tremendous academic foundation that we really saw put to great use when she went off to high school. As a matter of fact, there were opportunities throughout her freshman year in high school where she came home and went through her old notes from Dr. Maynard's literature classes, trying to find her lists of literary terms because they served as a great reference tool for her for the entire year of her freshman year. But in addition to being so well prepared academically, from a social standpoint and from just how to be a good citizen, how to study, how to be a productive member of a community, we feel that her foundation at Mason Prep was so strong, and we've seen that played out over and over again, both in high school and now in her freshman year in college.
Okay. My favorite part about Mason Prep is my students. We have fun every single day.
Yeah. My favorite part about Mason Prep is that it's fun and my teachers are fun. My favorite thing about Mason Prep is that you get pen pals.
Okay.
My favorite part about Mason Prep is learning.
My favorite part of Mason Prep is to play with all of my friends.
I like how big the gym is and how big the fields are. Very creative, and there's a lot of space. My favorite part about Mason Prep is going on field trips.
A lot has changed at Mason Prep over the years, but the mission of the school stays the same: to provide a great education for each and every student. This dedication to the goals of our founders is part of what makes Mason Prep the special place that it is.
As we look toward our next 50 years, we're excited by the opportunities for Mason Prep to grow. While we must evolve so that we're always able to provide our students with the skills they need for success in our world that changes so quickly, Mason Prep can always be counted on to teach our students to be not only lifelong learners but also good citizens.
Happy birthday, Mason Prep!
Happy birthday, Mason Prep!
Happy birthday, Mason Prep!
Thank you for a great 8 years, and happy birthday, Mason Prep.
Happy birthday, Mason Prep! Happy birthday, Mason Prep!
My name is Madison Duffy from the class of 2013. Happy birthday, Mason Prep!
Happy birthday, Mason Prep!
Happy birthday, Mason Prep!
Happy birthday, Mason Prep!